Have you ever said something to your grown child with the purest intentions, only to watch the space between you widen instead of close? Maybe you offered a comment to protect them or shared advice you believed would make their path easier. Yet instead of appreciation, you were met with silence, tension, or a quiet retreat. That moment, the moment when love is misunderstood, might be one of the softest, most painful truths of parenthood. You meant to open a door, but somehow your words built a wall instead. The reality is simple. It's usually not the message, but the way it lands. Words that once guided them as kids no longer carry the same weight. Adults crave autonomy and dignity more than direction, even though they still long for warmth, support, and understanding. Today, we're going to explore 3 phrases almost every parent uses with good intentions. Phrases that can unintentionally weaken the bond you're trying to protect. And stay with me through the end, because the third one is the most common, the easiest to miss, and the one that can deeply affect the way your child opens up to you. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed to Beyond the Twist so you never miss the conversations that help you grow closer, think deeper, and understand the people you love more fully. Now let's begin. 1. I only want what's best for you. This line comes from a place of genuine care, but it can leave a subtle sting. Parents often say it when they're scared, when their child leaves a secure job, chooses a partner they're unsure about, or takes a path that feels risky. The intention is love, but the impact can feel like doubt. What your child may actually hear is, "You can't be trusted with your own life," or "My fears are more important than your choices." Beneath this phrase is often a parent's anxiety, not the child's incompetence. You fear they'll suffer, fall behind, or make mistakes you once made. But the truth is that mistakes are part of building a life. Trusting your child to face challenges doesn't mean abandoning them. It means believing in their strength. Instead of saying, "I only want what's best for you," try shifting to something like, "I trust you're figuring out what's best for your life, and I'm here whenever you want to talk." The love stays, but the control fades. It acknowledges their independence rather than overshadowing it. If you want to deepen that trust even more, approach their decisions with curiosity instead of correction. Ask, "What made you choose this?" Or, "What are you hoping this change brings into your life?" These questions don't judge, they invite. They show you want to understand their perspective, not override it. The more you move from protecting to partnering, the more your relationship evolves, from authority to true connection. Wanting the best doesn't have to mean defining it for them. The meaning of a good life is personal. Stability, family, a traditional career, these might have defined your generation. But today's world often values creativity, freedom, and self-expression. When you honor their version of happiness, you show them that your love isn't conditional. Over time, this builds something deeper than agreement. It builds trust that survives even when you disagree. 2. You never call me. This phrase hides a quiet ache. Parents often say it with a half smile, but underneath is longing. You miss your child, their voice, their presence, the small pieces of their life. But when that longing comes out as a complaint, "You never call me," it can sound like criticism instead of love. What your child hears isn't, "I miss you." It's, "You're letting me down." That guilt doesn't pull them closer. Guilt pushes them away. Real connection doesn't grow from pressure. It grows from warmth. Life for adults today is heavy. Work, relationships, responsibilities, constant information, everything competes for their attention. Contact can start to feel like another chore, especially if every conversation reminds them of what they're not doing right. But if you shift the feeling behind the message, everything shifts with it. Instead of "You never call me," say, "I love hearing from you. Your messages always make my day better." You're still expressing need, but without blame. And that small shift transforms an obligation into an invitation. You can also make communication feel more natural by creating small, pressure-free moments of connection. Send a funny message, a warm memory, or something light that doesn't demand a long reply. Or agree on a simple rhythm, a quick Sunday check-in or a monthly catch-up. What matters isn't how often you talk, but how safe it feels to talk. Sometimes parents expect communication to look the way it used to: long conversations, shared evenings, familiar routines. But relationships change, and so does the way we stay connected. A short text, a photo, or a brief voice note may be how your child expresses love now. Don't mistake shorter messages for weaker feelings. When you appreciate the small gestures, they tend to grow. Love doesn't always come in the format you recognize. Often, it comes in the form someone has the bandwidth to give. Before we continue, if this message resonates, consider liking or sharing it to help others build healthier connections. Now, let's move to the third phrase, the one most parents don't realize can quietly push their child away. 3. When I was your age. This phrase is born from experience, from pride, from everything you've learned the hard way. You want to pass down your wisdom so your child doesn't repeat your pain. But when conversations start with, "when I was your age," they often create distance instead of closeness. To younger adults, it can sound like comparison, even dismissal. The world they're facing is not the world you grew up in. Their struggles may be different, harder in some ways, and invisible in others. The problem isn't your wisdom, it's the framing. Today's world moves faster, feels heavier, and demands more emotional resilience. When advice is delivered through comparison, it can feel outdated or disconnected. Instead of beginning with, "when I was your age," try, "I remember going through something similar. Can I tell you what helped me?" That small change opens the door instead of closing it. Another powerful approach is to share your lessons as stories, not instructions. Instead of saying, "you should do this," say, "there was a time I didn't know what choice to make either. Here's what I learned." Stories invite conversation. Lectures shut it down. When you share how you felt, not just what you did, your experience becomes relatable, human, real. Saying, "I remember feeling lost at your age," connects far more deeply than, "here's what I used to do." Vulnerability builds bridges. It reminds your child that behind your strength was once uncertainty too. And that creates respect, empathy, and closeness. The truth is, they don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be human. Your words shape how your love is received. A single sentence can strengthen a bond or quietly weaken it. But here's the hopeful part. It's never too late to shift the way you speak and mend what may feel strained. The foundation of your relationship is not built on flawless communication. It's built on willingness to grow. If you've said any of these phrases before, don't hold on to guilt. Hold on to awareness. Awareness lets you replace control with curiosity, guilt with appreciation, and comparison with compassion. As your child becomes an adult, your role naturally changes. You don't have to lead from the front anymore. You walk beside them. And in that shift, something beautiful happens. Your presence becomes grounding instead of guiding. Your advice becomes support instead of instruction. And your words stop sounding like lessons. They begin to sound like love. So maybe today, reach out with something simple and sincere. Say, "I'm proud of you," or "I love hearing about your life." Then give them space to come toward you in their own time. Love doesn't demand. It invites. And spoken with patience and trust, even the softest words can stay with someone forever.